When the Clock Stops, a USAG Stuttgart Shutdown Day story. Welcome everyone to our community messaging platform called the OPSEC Minute Extended. Unless a monkey wrench is thrown into the mix. On Mondays, we intend on using this space in both text and posted videos to share both a little OPSEC or Operation Security Wisdom along with an occasional marvel. Team up bridge that ties into other regulatory security disciplines and policies that our leadership and the Department of Army embrace. We realize reading a page of dialogue is not everyone's cup of tea. As an alternative, please feel free to subscribe, share, like, or simply check out the video of this and other OPSEC Minute stories on our YouTube Secure Narratives channel. Simply click the link and let it play in the background as you tackle your morning routine and backlog of email. All right, let's dive in and enjoy today's secure narrative. Prologue, 001 hours. At United States Army Garrison, Stuttgart, the moment the funding authority expired did not announce itself with darkness or alarms. The lights stayed on. Gates continued their mechanical rhythm. Radios crackled, as usual. But the garrison grew quieter, not peaceful intent. The background hum of daily life receded just enough to feel wrong, like a held breath stretched too long. Trucks still rolled. Doors still opened. Voices still carried. Yet something essential had thinned, leaving behind a brittle stillness that pressed against the nerves. Shutdown day had arrived. The danger wasn't disruption, it was assumption. Assumption that systems paused cleanly. Assumption that threats respected fiscal calendars. Assumption that silence meant safety. From a shadowed vantage near the main gate, a pair of watchful eyes tracked the sparse traffic. A faint smile curved thin lips. The world thought it was slowing down. It wasn't. It was changing tempo. Act 1. The wrong person for the right day. Jesse Morales had always lived on the margins. At 38, he was a contract civilian logistics analyst. One of those invisible professionals who ensured the right things moved to the right places at the right time. He was noticed only when something went wrong, then forgotten again. Before that life, he had worn a uniform, Army Reservist, 8 a.m. motor transport operator. Convoys, deployment clocks, the unforgiving math of oversight under pressure. That life left him with habits that never faded, thinking 3 steps ahead, scanning for what didn't belong, and quieter scars. A failed marriage, shared custody, and a fierce devotion to his daughter, Maya. Nights were his sharpest hours. Between midnight and dawn, his mind untangled problems others hadn't yet seen. Shutdown morning found him sitting in his aging Ford Focus just outside Panzer Kaserne. Frost edged the windshield. The stark USAG Stuttgart sign reflected back at him like a question. His phone vibrated. Subject: Furlough status update, pending further guidance pending. A word designed to mean nothing and everything. He wasn't supposed to work. He was furloughed. He should have been planning how to explain to Maya why her birthday party was suddenly delayed, or recalculating a budget already stretched thin. But the email was from his contracting agency, not the Army, and the Army's systems still ran on data. His data, that gray space between policy and reality, was where trouble liked to hide. An old commander's voice surfaced in his mind. The enemy doesn't care about your payroll status. They care about your vulnerability. Jesse shut off the engine. He wasn't going home. But he wasn't walking through the main gate either. Act 2. The gaps and the whispers. Inside the garrison, leadership moved with disciplined calm. Shutdowns weren't new. Chaos was expected, but managed. Colonel Edward Sanford, garrison commander, moved with quiet authority. His message was consistent and steady. Mission essential operations continue. No panic. We are not a political football. Beside him, Robert Gwinner, Deputy Garrison Commander, translated congressional ambiguity into workable guidance. His phone never left his hand. In the motor pool, Command Sergeant Major Christopher Melendez walked gravel lanes, reading morale the way others read reports. Soldiers were still soldiers, funding or not. Within the Directorate of Plans, Training, Mobilization, and Security, DPTM's vigilance sharpened. Kyle Corey, the director, adjusted risk posture with a cartographer's precision. Robert Taylor, the protection chief, sifted anomalies from streams of data. Luke Fralick and Sergeant First Class Kaylee Schrader. The anti-terrorism officers subtly elevated force protection without feeding fear. Schrader understood how easily harmless data could be weaponized. At the Directorate of Emergency Services Day, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Jimenez, the director and provost marshal, maintained visible presence. Predictability was security. And in the quiet corner of the OPSEC office, James J.B. Brooks, the OPSEC officer, reminded anyone who'd listen, silence isn't security. Discernment is. Jesse saw none of that choreography. He slipped into a dim annex office using an access card that still worked, pending had its privileges. Cold coffee, flickering monitor. Then he saw it. A transportation manifest anomaly. Inactive personnel furloughed, showing badge activity. Off-base exits followed by returns. Odd hours. Valid access. Not one mistake. Not two. A pattern. Vehicles, too. Civilian. Logged cleanly. Not a breach. Noise. And on shutdown day, noise mattered. His training kicked in hard and fast. Always assume intent. Act 3. The Support Network. Jesse didn't escalate immediately. He knew better. A furloughed analyst crying wolf on shutdown day would vanish into bureaucracy. Instead, he called his people. First, Tariq Hassan, the rideshare coordinator, a former Air Force Tactical Air Control Party, TACP, forward air controller. Tariq personified calm and was full of lethal clarity under pressure. They met in a half-opened coffee shop. "You looked wrecked," Tariq said. Jesse showed him the data. Tariq leaned in. "That's not random. That's a probe." Next, Mara Klein, local national admin assistant. Stuttgart born. She was institutional memory in human form. "Shutdowns are camouflage," she said flatly over video. "People expect disorder. Someone's exploiting that." Then there was Jenna Ruiz, the Directorate of Family, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation's Army Community Service volunteer coordinator. She firmly knew the pulse of the community. "I've heard whispers," Jenna admitted. "People have been joking online about the expected shutdown and how security will likely be off today." The picture snapped into focus. This wasn't an accident. It was a test. At 10:17, Jesse made the call. With calm precision, he spoke to the Directorate of Emergency Services watch desk. He reported facts. Patterns, no conclusions. Just signal. And this time, someone listened. Act 4. The Shadow Play. The Directorate of Emergency Services verified locations. Nothing obvious. But Army counterintelligence leaned in. Agents Lucas Brenner and Hannah Price took the thread and pulled. Brenner mapped movements. Price traced voices. The answer was chilling in its elegance. Not infiltration. Social engineering, shutdown-driven frustration was being harvested. Online spaces encouraged furloughed personnel to vent, speculate, test assumptions. Security's probably relaxed. My badge still works. Easy to come and go. Each casual entry became data. The target wasn't the base, at least not yet. It was behavioral mapping, vulnerability as a product. The ringleaders surfaced quickly. a cybercriminal group working out of Eastern Europe with state-adjacent ties, selling real-time vulnerability assessments of NATO installations. The forums went dark. Digital trails closed. German authorities coordinated arrests. No breach occurred. Because someone noticed the noise. At the afternoon sink, Alonzo Edwards, Command Security Manager, said it simply. This wasn't weakness. It was timing. And vigilance beat timing. His eyes met Jesse's. Act 5. The Human Moment. That evening, Jesse picked up Maya from after-school care. She held up a unicorn drawing. "Did you go to work?" she asked. "Sort of. Did you help?" He hugged her tight. "Yeah, I did." Later, coffee and mismatched chairs filled Tariq's apartment. "To the shutdown that didn't shut us down," Tariq said. "And 2 boring details," Mara added. Jenna smiled softly. "That's where the story turns." Jesse said nothing. He didn't need to. Epilogue. When time starts again. Funding would return. Emails would change. But something important had already happened. On the day the clock stopped politically, people kept time operationally. They noticed gaps. They trusted instincts. They stayed present. Security wasn't loud. Resilience wasn't flashy. And heroes weren't named. They were simply paying attention. Thank you for sticking around as we continue testing the boundaries of an extended storyboard. Think of it as security training with a plot twist and a fresh way to both educate our team and connect with our military community. Subscribe to our Secure Narratives YouTube channel, share, or hit us with a like and watch our new uploads. Also, if you have other suggestions or ideas or are interested in a personalized name drop or your work center's inclusion to our tales, don't hold back, send a quick note, or use the interactive customer evaluation system to share your thoughts. We're all ears and ready to make things even better. So until next Monday's OPSEC Minute Extended. Keep those comments coming and stay engaged.